Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Does it seem frightening when I wave hello with a rotary cutter in my hand? Welcome, everybody, to our mystery summer sampler. This is finally our last episode of the summer sampler, which has now led into fall. Are you all caught up with your blocks? I know you will be really soon, right? You're just planning to take this weekend and catch up on them all. Isn't that right? Well, everybody, we're here with block number 12. This is our final block. I will also follow up very soon with all the finishing instructions. You can see the progress on the wall behind me. Miss Landon stayed last night and started putting the actual quilt top together. I had pieced up block number 12 yesterday afternoon. This little flock of geese is what I've called that one. And it's a little bit of a cheater flying geese, I'll admit. Landon said, "These aren't real flying geese, Mom." But that's okay. They give the look of flying geese, right? Sorry, I'm just going to make this quick cut here. Trying to talk and do things at the same time, it's never a good choice for me. So everybody, if you are just joining us for the first time, which I hope you are not, but if you are, you can still get all these patterns by visiting us at the link above this video or visit us on our website at sparrowquiltco.com. And you're looking for the Mystery Summer Sampler. There are 12 blocks in total, so when you receive them all, make sure you get all 12. And then we'll follow up very soon with the finishing instructions for those blocks. I hope that everybody has joined our Sparrow Quilt Co daily group on Facebook so that we can see your progress. I've found in the past when I do quilt-alongs that it takes a little bit of time for people to catch up. So we'll be seeing the progress of everybody's blocks even over the next few months. So please join now so that we can see your progress and so that you can be inspired by the others who are sharing their progress and their fabrics and their blocks and how things are going with them, okay? It's a really fun little quilting community that we've got going there on Facebook. So just search Sparrow Quilt Co Daily and you'll be able to just join the group, okay? Now, as you know, we love to give away prizes. Today, because we're in the home stretch of this quilt, I'm going to give away 2 packages of tearaways. Now, tearaways are a paper pattern that you're going to lay out over your quilt top once you've finished it, and you're going to stitch on the lines that are shown on the paper, and then you just tear away the paper, and you're going to have this beautiful, consistent design all over your quilt. So I'm going to send you 2 packages of these. This is going to be more than enough for you to finish this size of quilt. And I think you're just absolutely going to love them because I know I do. I love having a line to follow. It keeps me consistent and it just gives me a predictable result, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Very soon, we probably won't have anything going next Wednesday, but we'll get back to you really soon with the dates of our next quilt along that we will be starting. What did we think, Elle? We decided not to start right away, okay? Yeah, we need a couple weeks because we got Judy Madsen coming, and she'll be right smack dab in the middle of this type of thing, so we just want to make sure that we get through that with no hiccups. Well, that's not a bad thing. So we're thinking maybe that last week of October. How does that sound to you guys? Can you make time in your schedule for me in the last week of October to start a new quilt along? I hope so. We'll do it similar to this with some downloadable patterns, and we'll just do videos every Wednesday morning. That sound okay to you guys? You want to be a part of that again? This one is a really great quilt that I made a couple of years ago, so I'm excited to be doing it again. And this time I'm going to do it scrappy instead of the 2 color option that I did last time. It was red and white background fabric, but you guys are going to really enjoy it. And again, it's a nice skill builder. So if you're looking to improve your skills or get to know your guideline rulers a little bit better, this will be a great project for you to jump in on. All right, I kind of been cutting as I go this morning, and like I said, it's not a good idea for me because I should just stick to one activity at a time. That really is in my best interest. I forgot to print out my handout, but we are going to need 4 prints for this block and a background fabric. So I'm just going to redo the exact colorway that I have here so far. You can see I've got my strips already cut to the widths I need. Now I'm just going to cut a bunch of little squares. We're going to need 8 background squares, and then you're going to need 2 squares of the 4 different colors that you've chosen. So you guys, don't forget to share this video. I told you that I was going to give away a prize, but I didn't tell you how to qualify for it. So in order to qualify for those tearaways, you are going to share this video here on Facebook. And then I need you to come back and comment that you've shared. And that way we can see that you have shared. If you have a private Facebook profile, then we can't see if you've shared or not. Elle, do you have Kleenex over there? He's starting to get a touch of a runny nose. It's been going around here, so I hope none of you catch it. Sorry, pardon me, guys. Let me discreetly clean my nose off camera for a second here. Not really off camera even. Okay, so I've stacked up a whole bunch of fabrics here. I've got 4 layers. I'm cutting 2 colors at once today. I'm getting wild and crazy. Just gonna... You're what? Just on it? Okay, that works. You know what I really like, and I just realized, these finished size quilting add-on rulers, they have a little lip on it. So when I make a cut and I pull my ruler away, that little lip actually brings my cut pieces with it, and it doesn't disturb my original piece of fabric, which I think is just lovely, because I find I'm always trying to readjust. And I don't want to disturb those fabrics. I want them to stay exactly where they are. So that's kind of a neat little feature. All right. So now I've got those 4 layers, 2 of each color. I've got pink there and blue, and I'm just going to turn them on the diagonal, and I'm going to cut once through the center on the diagonal there so that I get triangles instead of squares. Now, don't worry if you don't have the finished size quilting rulers. The instructions that I have built for every single block also have the regular ruler instructions in there, so you can use them even if you just have a regular 6x12 or 6x24 ruler. You're going to be able to play along with us. Oh, look, I left a little bit of selvage in there, but that's okay. We'll stitch it right in. You won't even know it's there. We'll pretend we didn't even see that. All right. Any questions or anything so far, Elle? My purple cutting mat, you can get them on the website. It is called the 2-color double-sided? Color contrasting. The other side of my purple mat is yellow. I have another one over here. Maybe I can lift the corner and show you. Oh, are we on the big camera or just the overhead? Okay, so you can see the other side has numbers and it's a different color. So if you can't see your fabrics on the purple side, you can flip it over and use the yellow side as well. That way it's really good value, because if you wear out the purple side, you can flip it over and use the yellow side as well. Come in. All right. So again, I've stacked up a couple of colors here. Both fabrics are folded in half. So I'm chopping through 4 layers at once here. And I've just taken off my salvages. And then I'm going to cut 2 squares of each color, but all at once. Get those out of here. And again, we're going to turn that so we can cut through the diagonal. And we're going to have a big old pile of triangles. Now, sorry?
If you're using Mickey for a backing, do you still use backing?
If I am using Minky for a backing, do I still use batting? And the answer is yes, I do. A lot of people don't because they feel like it'll make the quilt too bulky. I like that. I like the weight of it. I like, it makes a really significant quilt. And I've actually moved away from using flat cottons almost entirely. If it's going to a person, then I put a minky backing on it. If it's something that's just going to hang on the wall, then I'm more likely to go flat cotton. But yes, I always put batting in there. What I find is the pile of the minky, it's like a fur, right? What happens is the needle goes down and comes back up, and it brings a little bit of that minky pile with it. And it looks like the fibers are poking up through the top of the quilt. That is lessened when we put some batting in there. And what the truth is that once you wash that quilt, all the minky is going to go back to where it belongs. But some people just don't like that look at all. So my preference personally is to put batting in the quilt.
Would half-inch square triangles work? No, half-square triangles.
Yep, they sure would. You certainly could do it that way. So the rulers that I'm using allow me to cut my triangles the exact size I need. The disadvantage to doing half square triangles where you take two squares and put them together, sew across the diagonal, sew a 1/4 inch on either side of that center line, and then you got to trim them, and then you got to trim them down to the correct size because you had to cut them large. So these finished size quilting add-on seam allowances make it so that there's no trimming after the fact, and it's just a time saver. Really, I'm able to do it a lot faster, but you absolutely could do half square triangle units for this. Okay, so let's get rid of those salvages and the fold. This time I need 8 squares of background fabric, which I'm going to cut in half to get 16 triangles. And right now I have got 4 layers of fabric.
Grandma says she loves Mickey, hates Bradie.
Oh, I know. Pamela, I agree about cutting minky. It is the fluffiest stuff ever. We have had a couple of really great tips in regards to minky. One lady will put a piece of tape along the edge, and then when she cuts, the tape holds all the fluff in place. And so then you gotta peel the tape off, but it takes all that fluff with it, which I think is really smart. Another gal keeps her little dust buster vacuum cleaner right there, and if she cuts, and she vacuums before she moves anything, and then that takes care of all the lint. I can't imagine trying to separate my minky from the vacuum cleaner, though. I can't see that being fun. Oh, I didn't cut that yet. Okay, so don't move it. Now, you guys, I can't believe that we're already on the last day of this, but if you are late to the game and you're just joining in now, don't worry. You can still get all the patterns. You're going to visit the link above this video, or you can visit the website at sparrowquiltco.com, and then you can put in your email address and we will send you all the patterns that we have done, including today's. Did the block go out already, Elle? Okay, perfect. Everybody check your inboxes because the pattern has gone out for the morning, and then sometime in the next few days, maybe even next Wednesday, we'll send out the finishing instructions for to do something similar like we're doing here. We're doing a different colored cornerstone. We're doing a black sashing. You can do whatever color you like. Probably do a black sashing around the entire thing, and then we're going to add a border too. So you're going to need all that information to finish putting yours together. Unless you're one of those that can just wing it, and then that's awesome. You can kind of do it however you like. All right, all my cutting is finished there. So just a reminder, guys, please share this video. Underneath the video is the option to like, comment, and share. You're just going to hit the share button, and that will share the video with all your Facebook friends. I'm going to be giving away 2 packages of tearaway quilting designs for you to finish your quilt. So I need you to come back here after you've shared and leave me a comment that you have done so. All right? Now, let's start sewing this beautiful block together. Do you think there's a lot of red in my quilt? It's pretty dominant, isn't it?
Grandma commented that her grandchildren love Mickey, and then her daughter commented, yes, and your children do too.
It's not just for the children, Mother. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Share your videos from Scotland.
London.
I had a chance to look into the Scotland.
The slotted trimmers. I don't think so. No, not yet.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right. My goodness. We must have been working hard because there's lint everywhere. That's a sure sign of hard work, right?
When you are cutting, do you use the lines on the ruler or the lines on the mat?
So there is kind of, the question is, when you're trimming, do you use the lines on your cutting mat or the lines on your ruler or both? I kind of use a combination of both. This particular brand of cutting mat, their lines are true to size. They actually promote the fact that their mats are accurate, and most cutting mats are not. So you typically want to rely on the lines on your ruler. However, when I'm laying out my fabric, regardless of what type of cutting mat I'm using, I'm always putting my right angles right into one of the lines on the cutting mat. Like, it just makes me realize how square I am if I use the cutting mat as well. So my final answer after all that rambling is that I use both, I guess. That's what it comes down to.
Laura wants to know where your ergo cutter is. Did your husband's dog eat it too?
No, my brother stole my ergo cutter. His blade was dull, so he borrowed my rotary cutter yesterday. And then I forgot to grab it back this morning. But I just opened one of these little splash cutters. This one I got for free, so I thought I'd better try it out. And it's apparently got a quick blade change feature, which I've not tried out yet. So I'm kind of looking forward to that because I feel awkward changing my blades, and I'm always scared I'm going to hurt myself. So, right, Jamie? Yes, I like the black fabric in between too. I was originally thinking white, and Lana came in and she said, "What do you think about black?" Which really makes them pop, doesn't it? If we just did white, everything would start to blend together. So I'm glad we have that contrast. Okay, I gotta adjust my table, so I gotta loosen the knobs first. All right. Good morning, Linda. Let's make sure there's no stuff underneath. Drop this down as low as she goes. There we are. Lock it all back in place to keep everything secure and strong. All right. So the first thing we need to do, guys, is start piecing our background fabrics to our little triangles, and we're just going to create 16 little squares is really what it comes down to. We can get these out of the way now. We'll lay this stuff out. I kept making mistakes yesterday. When Landon was helping me by pressing, and she would press things a certain way, and I would piece them the incorrect way. So that kind of leads to my tip of the day. Make sure you're pressing your seams in the right direction so that they alternate and so that they fit together a little bit better. You want to reduce the bulk in your seams as much as you can. So here, are they on the tabletop view? So here we press this seam to the left. This red one is pressed to the right, left, right. And we just alternated that direction so that when we piece them together, the seams go in opposite directions and it makes everything turn out a little bit flatter. And then this entire row, she pressed up for me, and this entire column, we're going to call these, she pressed down for me. And so then again, they were pressed in opposite directions, and when I joined the two columns together, it just went together really nice and easy. But I've told you guys before, I really need to lay things out so I can see where everything goes and to make sure that I'm not making errors. So that's what I'm going to do. Start by putting all my colors in the right places. And I just, here I went top to bottom, and then in this, on the other side, I just reversed the colorway. But you can do it however you want. If you just want to mix them all up, you could even use 8 different colors if you wanted. Okay, so next we've got red. There we go. And then we've got white corners. Make sure you guys join us on Friday. Friday is usually our Stash Busters day. I'm going to do just a single episode on one particular project. We've got a girl named Christine that works here, and she whipped up a quilt, and that's what we'll be showing on Friday, is how she did that. And I'm hoping that I can have my shuffle quilt finished for you. It's getting really close now. I've been chipping away at it every night. But I'll admit I got a little distracted on the weekend and worked on something entirely new. Sometimes you have to do that. Just a simple little table runner made with a jelly roll, but it's pretty cute. Hopefully I can come and show that to you sometime next week. All right, we're getting there. My last little row of geese. I'm going to miss all these polka dots when we move on to something new.
Charlene says she normally watches from Alberta, but today she's watching from Hawaii.
Oh, well, thanks for still tuning in, Charlene. I appreciate you still making time for me. Did you bring your sewing machine with you out there? I like to take my machine when I travel, but don't always use it.
Daughter Jessica says, Emily, you have to stop taking me. These are never going to get my house.
Mom, I'm busy. That's cute.
Emily says, motivation just a minute. You can clean the house after you go.
That's right. Your cleaning will wait. It always does. Okay. All right. So let's get these little squares pieced together. We're just going to add our background fabrics to our print squares. All right. I've already adjusted my needle position. I got to figure out how to program the memory on here so that it keeps my needle position. But, however, Lannon uses it in between too, so maybe I shouldn't just be selfish and program it for me. Or maybe I should. So this is pretty quick, easy work. Just going to take a couple minutes and pound through all these half square triangles. You are sewing the bias edge though, so be careful not to stretch. All right, have you had a chance to download all the patterns yet? If not, make sure you head to sparrowquiltco.com. You're going to download all those patterns, and then keep watching our Facebook page. We will announce our official start date of our next quilt along, but we're thinking it will be Halloween Day, right? Is that the Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a fun time to start something new. And please share this video. That's going to get you entered to win a prize. I need you to come back here and comment that you've shared. I'm going to be giving away 2 packages of the tearaway designs. So you can even go check them out on the website if you like and see all the different options. You can dream about if you're the winner. I'm going to take these 2.
Lily wants to know if you could use a 4-inch square.
You bet. You'd have to trim it down though after, okay? Lillian is asking, could she use a 4-inch square and then trim it down afterwards? And yes, that's the measurements that I gave you in the pattern this morning, is to use a 4-inch square. And then you'll have to trim it down to, what they were 3.5, Sel?
Yeah.
So today I am sewing on the Eversewn Sparrow 30. It is a beautiful little lightweight machine. only 13.5 pounds. So if you're looking for something to take to classes or to retreat and you don't want to haul your big machine, this is a great little option. It's got a lot of nice features for its price point, and it features a lot of stitches as well. For a long time, I thought I needed big and expensive, and you know what? As I sew longer, the more I realize I really don't need a lot of options on my machine. Simple is always good. So we're a little over halfway. Still just piecing print triangles to their background fabric, and then we're going to make all of these into little half square triangle units, and then we'll piece them into flying geese units. Say that once more. Oh. Well, just the 12 blocks, Stephanie, isn't going to be huge, I'll admit. 3 blocks across is 36, even if we added 2-inch sashing, it would be 40. 42, 44. If you added 6-inch borders and 2-inch sashing, 2.5-inch sashing, you could probably get it out to 50 by 62. So that's not a bad size lap quilt. Yes, I was talking about the Sparrow 30L. I like the needle threader too. You know what is helpful to know when you're threading a needle? Because our big APQS, the quilting machines, they don't have any sort of auto threader. So the needle itself has the groove that runs down it. If you can catch that groove and just run the thread down it, it'll pop right through the eye of the needle. So I kind of just aim at center of the needle and let the thread run down, and it'll just pop right through. Give it a try. It's surprising. I don't do it very often on my domestic machine, but if you're lacking that option on your machine, and most domestic machines have them, so it's not usually an issue, but yeah, that's just a little tip that I've learned. I've also been pondering getting those threaders in. It's something that you poke through, and it itself has like a loop, and then you put your thread through it and you pull it. But it's a bigger loop than the eye of a needle is, right? So it's kind of like a piece of it's like a wiry, yeah, it's firmer than thread. Yeah. It's not just more damn threading. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, I try to really try hard not to swear when I'm doing these shows, but you guys, to tell you the truth, I've got a awful filthy mouth. You think it's been better lately? Yeah. The kids were making fun of me last night, so here is probably accurate. I'm not very good at censoring myself, but whatever. I don't swear out of anger. I swear out of excitement. Whatever. And I grew up on rap music, so it's not always appropriate. I do my best. Hopefully none of y'all would be too offended if I said something inappropriate.
Well, me too, Bradie.
You should what?
My parents.
Meet my parents?
You're my parents.
Oh.
Like birds,
Oh. Laura, I would never get birds for that exact reason. They would just be sailors, just filthy mouthed sailors. My children all are too. Although they're a lot more polite than I am. They rein it in a bit better. Oh dear. Okay, here we go. Last one. And then we'll do some pressing. I'm actually a little bit excited. I've been showing you guys the Acorn precision piecing system over the past several weeks, and it's been really popular online. And a whole bunch of new product arrived yesterday. And on their little brochures, they promote that they will come out, the designers of the Acorn piecing system, they will come out to your shop and teach classes. And I think she even lives in Canada. So I friended her yesterday on Facebook, and I'm considering inviting them to come and teach some classes because I like precision. I'm sure most of you like precision. We're not all about that, but I always think it's best to give it my best shot. And if it doesn't work out perfect, I'm okay with that. But at least I can say I tried. All right. Let's start some pressing. I'm going to bring it over so I can press where you guys can see what I'm up to. I got my beautiful Woolly Felted Wonders pressing mat. Let's move this little guy over. So nice and light. Just moves right out of the way. And matches my phone, which I love. All right. So we're going to press all of these towards the print fabric so that nothing shows through on the white. Well, not nothing ever, but mostly. Get them all the right side up. There we go. Set all those seams real quick, and then what I'm going to do is use my Easy Press pen because I'm just finding it easier and easier every time I use it. Landon showed me a neat little trick the other day, so I'm going to show you that right now. I can't remember if I showed you last week or not, so that's why. You're getting it again, okay? Might be duplicate, but that's all right. What if someone wasn't watching last week and they missed it? So the Acorn Precision Piecing System consists of a couple of different parts. The main key ingredients are the seam-align glue, and I'll show you that in a moment, how I use it. But first we're going to use the Easy Press pen, and my label has been ripped right off. The Easy Press pen is just a tube pen, and I fill it with Easy Press liquid, which I suspect is a starch of some sort. And it has this spring-loaded tip. Someone, I think Landon said, oh, it's like a Tide pen. So when you press on it and you push the tip into it, that's what forces the liquid to come out. And we're just going to run the liquid along the seam that we've just sewn. And it just makes my piecing turn out super, super flat. So here you can see a block that I have pressed with my regular iron on my wool pressing pad, which really does give us flatter seams than normal. But now when we press with this, you're going to see how much flatter it gets. So Landon's fun little trick is that she just runs it along the actual stitches. And then when you open it up, it's already flat. You almost don't have to press it. I mean, I do just because. Oh. Sticks to your iron. So if I were to do that without using the Easy Press pen, and I just flipped it open that way, you can see how it would never, ever, ever stay flat. So let's do it again without actually pressing. We'll just do the pen. And like I said, I just dab a touch at the beginning and then I just run it along the seam. And it's going to dry. There will be no discoloration. Look at the difference between just using the pen, using nothing at all, but just finger pressing. And then this is when I've added a touch of actual heat and pressed it. So even if you weren't to press it, it's still going to be a lot flatter than it would be if you went with just our good old finger pressing option. Sometimes I just don't want to get up and go over to the ironing board. Here, when I'm sewing at work, I've got everything right here on my table, which is convenient, but at home it's not the same. My room's sprawled all out. So just considerably flatter when we use the Easy Press pen. And what's the benefit to having flatter seams? Well, you're going to be more accurate. Your actual measurements will be more likely to turn out the way you planned them to be. If things don't flatten, then they don't reach how big they're supposed to be, and your piecing ends up being a bit too small. You know, a lot of the quilts, so the question is, what do we do with the quilts after we make them? A lot of the quilts hang in the shop, just as examples for patterns that we sell and that sort of thing. I give a lot of quilts away. If someone has a baby or there's some sort of charity event, there's always a quilt that we can just grab and give. We've donated a lot of quilts for homeless endeavors. Some of our samples from the long arm quilting machines, you know, they're just two pieces of fabric quilted together. We've donated those for dog beds. They never go to waste, is what I'm getting at. There's always a good use for quilts, right? Got quite a few at the house. Sometimes they just go home after they've been used here or on display here. All right, we are slowly chipping away at pressing all these 16 tiny little units. You are watching the Mystery Summer Sampler. Summer. -3 here today. That's Celsius, but y'all know that means cold when there's a minus in front of it, right? This will be our last session of this quilt. Next week, I'll send you out the finishing instructions. You know, all the sashing and borders and that sort of stuff. However we put ours together, I will send you all that information. And then we'll put this all together as a nice little single quilt pattern so that if people down the road are interested, they won't have to download 12 separate blocks. We can do it in a much more packageable way, I guess, hopefully. But we're going to start another one here on October 31st. It's funny, at the beginning of the show, I didn't know when we were starting it, but now it's the 31st. And then we'll have another one going in the new year. Because the next one won't be very huge. It's not a lot of blocks. Well, the good thing is we're using the finished size quilting ruler, so we could probably make it whatever size we want. You guys are quiet today. Or maybe you're not. Not a lot of questions today, that's for sure. Have you had a chance to share this video? Have you been interested in the tearaway quilting designs? You can check them out at sparrowquiltco.com. Just search the term tearaway and it will show you all the different options that are available. But I want to send my winner today 2 packages of tearaways. That'll be more than enough to quilt up this pretty little thing that you're making at the moment. And so then you can give them a try. If you're not familiar with the tearaway designs, they are a paper, tissue type paper that you're going to lay out over your finished quilt. You're going to baste your quilt all together, and then you're going to lay out the tearaway designs. And it gives you a line to follow when you're quilting on your machine. And that way you stay consistent and it will look terrific. Then once you're done, you just pull all the paper off the quilt and you're going to love it. I really, really enjoy it. It's just nice to have a line to follow. Sometimes, I don't know, I find free motion quilting, I can only do a couple of designs and I just get sick of it, and it's hard to keep my design the same size all around. So if I have a line to follow, I'm much happier. Oh, don't do that. All right, so let's set this one over here and let's lay our blocks back out again, shall we? I'll do them all right here on my little cutting mat. In the instructions I gave you today, I specify that you use 5 different fabrics. 1 is your background, 4 are the different prints. If you want to go really scrappy with this guy, you could use 8 different fabrics if you wanted. This would be cool in like a gradiated type of color scheme. You could go from a light to a dark, maybe a light gray through a black. You could just have fun with it. All right. So once we get this all laid out again, we're just going to finish sewing. Put each of these into a flying geese unit. Joyce is asking how old my youngest is. He is 6. 6.5. He's the studio babe. So when I had him, we were in our about our first year and a half of the business. And he was with us at the shop every day for the first year of his life. And then he had to go be a big boy at the day home. But yeah, a lot of our longtime customers were good at holding Kern because he would fuss at the shop or whatever, and there was always someone nearby that was willing to hold that little farmer. He's a little bit spoiled as a result of it, but that's okay. He's cute. All right, so now I am at the point where I'm going to join 2 squares together and I'm going to make them into a single flying geese unit. And typically I don't use glue for this type of thing, but I really like or I don't even use a pin for this type of thing, but I really like my points to line up properly. So what I'm going to do is take a small drop of the seam-aligned glue. You can see it has got a tube applicator. That's the word I'm looking for. And the glue just comes out of there in these perfect little spheres, and it stays exactly where you put it, which I really like because I don't like working with glue when it's getting all over the place. So I'm just going to put a tiny little dot of it right up in the corner of my little triangle here, and I'm making sure that it's high enough so that it's going to be in my seam allowance. And then I'm going to take the other triangle and I'm going to put it right over top. But I want to make sure that those points are really well lined up. Susie, it's called the Seam Align Glue. And it's going to help me hold my pieces together without pinning. So now that I've got that glue in there and I can see that my pieces are lined up the way I want them, I'm just going to press it. And the pressing sets the glue. Now this isn't cement. If I need to pull them apart at this point, it's no problem. I just yank them apart. But that's going to keep my little corners, my little diagonal points of my triangles lined up to each other so that when I sew and the pressure of the pressure of the foot comes down and the feed dogs start moving, it's not going to put my pieces off from each other. I want my points to stay lined up, so that glue is going to hold it together inside there for me to make sure that my points stay lined up properly. Let's go ahead and press that. Oh, I started a bit too late. I don't typically trim my dog ears off. No. You certainly could. Do I have any new hints about the new toys I've received in the shop? I said I received new stuff. I got lots of acorn piecing systems in yesterday. Machinger's gloves. If you've not seen the quilting hoops, you need to check those out too. And we also just got quilting paddles, which are just 2-piece large. It's like the quilting hoop, but it's just a paddle that you hold in each hand. And so you got a lot more flexibility as far as moving things around. I'm excited to do a video and show those off. I got a ton of new fabric here. Yeah?
I want to see if I hook the mic up to that one and then put the headphones on this one. I can use the mic on the headphones to read the questions.
Let's give it a try. Okay, guys, we're going to shut the sound down for 2 minutes while we fiddle around with some stuff here, okay? Just because it's closer to you, right? We're going to see if we can get Landon a microphone here. because she does a lot of reading of questions to me, and then I forget to read them out loud. And then you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, and it's just silly. Okay, let's check my points on here. Not too shabby. Not perfect. But not too shabby either. I actually read Am I back? Do you have the sound on your computer?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Nope. Still not. That's this one. Okay. I'm just gonna. We'll test it.
So what's the feedback for hearing then?
The other iPad,
Just recording?
just through there, through its speaker.
Yeah, you can't mess with the sound once you start it, I think.
It doesn't seem to work yet. So.
Oh, we're getting something. Okay, those headphones are plugged in. So just your computer that's feedback. Okay. All right, everybody, I hope you can hear me again. Our little experiment did not work, so thank you for your patience. I'm just continuing to glue my points together so that they stay nice and lined up. I started telling you all the story, and then Landon says, Mom, you don't have sound. Don't be. I'm the silly one.
Oh, does the glue make the material hard, or do you wash it? Does it come on it?
The glue does not make the material hard. No, it seems to be very pliable still after the fact. So but I've not washed anything yet since I started using this. But no, it's very soft glue, and we haven't had any troubles with hardening at all. So I was reading a book. It is called Oh Scrap. It is written by Lisa Alexander, and in there she shares this tip where she's piecing like a Lone Star type block, and it shows one picture beforehand where her seam was pressed in one direction, and it looks like the seams are quite off. And then she took the seam allowance and pressed it in the other direction, and it brought the seams into alignment simply by changing the direction of the seam. So I know we preach a lot about don't let your seams show behind your white fabrics or this or that, but that is a much easier solution than ripping. So give that a try first. I just thought it was really smart. So then I was just looking at this little point right here. Just gonna see. Is this camera on? Okay. So there you can see my point is pretty darn close. If you look really, really close, we've got like a hair of height on the right-hand side compared to the other. So then I was just playing around. Does it get better if I flip the seam? And it kind of does. It gets a little bit better if I press the seam the other direction. So keep that in mind as you are dealing with what looks like a mistake. Perhaps it will be remedied just by pressing the seam in the other direction. It's worth a shot before you rip it apart, right? Anything that can save us from ripping stitches is a good thing. All right, this is my last little point I got to line up, and then we will get all these half square triangles pieced into flying geese units. Oh. All right, there we go. So like I told you earlier, oh look, my lunch is here. I told you earlier that I'm going to work on the finishing directions, so how big your sashing should be and what you need to cut for that. I'll get all that information to you by next week, okay? We'll aim for next Wednesday for sure, for sure. So I've still got a lot of sewing to do for my Friday morning project, my Stash Buster series. Do you join us for that one too? I know some of you do. But it's just another little piecing series that we do here on Facebook videos to help you use up your stash that you currently own. Because I know I have a lot. I'll bet you do too. Are there any beginners out there who have like no stash yet? Don't despair. It won't be long. You'll have tons. Oh, Lannon's raising her hand. You've got a little bit of fabric, don't you? A little bit. Oh, it's a project. So it's not stash. It's a UFO. I'm just going to chain piece all these little guys together, then we'll separate them all, and then we'll press them. And before you know it, we're going to have a block. And shockingly, this is block number 12. We're already through this entire little series. Doesn't feel like it was that long ago that we began, at least not to me. Time sure flies. Oh, Donna. That's awesome. Donna says she could open her own store with her stash. I used to feel like that. I got rid of a lot of it. And now I have my own store. I used to tell people, because we never used to sell fabric here at the shop, and I'd say, if you see fabric at the shop, don't touch it, because it's mine. Greedy little girl. All right, I got one more after this, and then we'll have all our little flying geese units pieced. There we go. And I like that glue because I can prepare my pieces and then just pound through them, and I don't have to worry about relining things up. Just keeps everything together, which is a good thing. All right. I use this little cutter on my machine all the time. Do you use yours a lot too? It's just so conveniently located for separating my chain piecing. Ooh. Is it stuff from us, Laura? No, we just cleared out all that other stuff that came from a But that's a good score. I said that's a good score to get from a closed shop. Stephanie says what, sorry?
It's not stashed, it's a stack. Many stacks.
It's not stash, it's a stack.
And that she just purchased some new IKEA stuff.
Oh, that's exciting. Someone says I just purchased a new IKEA organizational system of some kind for their fabrics. It's so nice to get them organized and into nice containers or even on display. I've just got a glass front like armoire or wardrobe, so I can see everything that's in there. I like that it's got a glass front. I don't have to open it up to see everything that's inside. It's almost like it's a display cabinet.
Heather says mine isn't stashed. USP, unstarted projects.
Oh, I like unstarted projects. That's nice. Because everything you've purchased has a plan. Like you've got a plan for it in your mind, right? I'm sure of it. Oh, I read. Oh, wow. Well, Marianne, sometimes they got to start out slow. Slow and steady wins the race, right? That doesn't go there. That goes here. Yeah, fabric is one thing that never goes bad. So, if you buy a whole bunch of it, it's still good in 10 years. It's not like all those vegetables in the freezer, in the fridge. Why waste money on vegetables when you can spend it on fabric that will never go bad? That's terrible advice. Don't listen to that at all. Eat your vegetables. Half a plate at every meal. I'm not kidding. All right. I have applied the Easy Press solution to every one of these seams, so now I can just come along and press them all. And finally, we are in the home stretch here. We're just going to join all these flying geese in a column. I'm going to join them top to bottom here.
Valerie wants to know how much each filling of the acorn end goes through.
So in the system that I sell, I sell you the 4-ounce refill bottle, and I am refilling this quite frequently. I'm not going to lie. I'm going through way more of the Easy Press solution than I am of the glue. I haven't even refilled my glue yet. It came in a 1-ounce bottle, and it is still full up to here.
This is probably your third quilt that you're using that on, though, right? Because I used it on one, used it on Shuffle, and you're using it on this one.
That's true. So we're down to about 2/3 of a bottle.
And you've done 3 quilts.
And Line and Figures, we've done about 3 quilts. So it's gone a pretty good ways, but you're going to go through way more of the pressing solution than you are of the glue. There's no doubt about it. There's no bow to doubt it. I'm just going to... No, I'll be okay without this. All right. So now we're just going to join these top to bottom, and I pressed all my seams in the same direction. Smart. So smart. Not. So what I'm going to do now is alternate the direction on every other one so that my joining will be easier. Which is my own fault for not paying attention. So make sure you're paying attention. But you guys know this fruit fly brain of mine. Hummingbird, fruit fly. Who am I today? All right.
Take a crash course in Excel.
All right, I'm not repeating that one. Okay, so now let's join these to one another. We could use some seam-aligned glue there. I'm not too worried about that. That's going to stay lined up pretty nicely, I hope. I'll learn my lesson here real quick if I'm wrong. Actually, maybe I'll just put a quick pin at the center. Because now I'm getting lazy and I just want to finish. Right? You all want to see the end sooner rather than later. Okay. You know, Yeah, I appreciate your comment about the spray bottle, but this is such a specific application. Like we really just want it in a very specific spot. I think that a spray might be too greatly distributed, whereas this we want it specifically right on the seam line there. All right, come on, get through there. I know it's thick. You can do it. There we go. I wasn't sewing very fast there because it was a thick seam and there was a pin there, so it was dawdling a little bit. Let's take that out. Let's see how we did. Perfecto. Okay, now let's join these two to one another. Gosh, I'm excited to see your guys' quilts. I really, truly want to see them. So I hope that you all are going to join the Sparrow Quilt Co. Daily group because I want to see your finished projects. Yes, make sure when you share that you hashtag Sparrow Quilt Co. so that we can find you. And maybe we'll even share your photos and talk about how awesome you are. Landon likes to go through every once in a while and share people's photos, so that would be fun and get featured on the business page. Now we're getting near the end here, guys, so don't forget to share this video, okay? Underneath the video, you're going to hit the share option, and then I need you to come back here and share. If you've had a chance to go to the website and look at the tearaway designs, then I want you to include in your comment what design you would choose. Have I done that correctly? Good. So the one I'm showing you here, this is called Cinnamon, and it's kind of swirly loopies. Really pretty. I'll put it there so you can see it a little bit better. But there are a whole bunch of really fun designs. And like I said earlier, it's just so nice to have a line to follow that keeps you consistent and makes your design look the same at the top as it does at the bottom. That's my biggest issue, is that by the time I'm finished, the quilting doesn't even look the same. It's like a whole nother person came and took over. All right, so I'm almost done joining this first column of little flying geese together. And then we will open it up and see how all my points did. Did I save all my points? Let's have a peek. Yes, they look terrific. So now this entire column, I'm going to press these joining seams all up. And then when I do this row, I'll press them all down. And then that will allow them all to join a lot nicer so that I don't have big bulky seams, and so that my shapes all line up the way I want them to. Now, does everybody have time to join us on Saturday for an auction? We're going to do another auction on the weekend. We had lots of stuff left over from last week that didn't make it. So we'll do another auction this Saturday, and don't forget to join us on Friday. We're going to do something a little bit different. It'll still be a Stash Busters theme, but it'll just be a single show about one little quilt. All right. Miss L, will you choose me a winner, please? So if you didn't get a chance to go to the website and look at some of the tearaway quilting designs, when you send me a message, if you're the winner, I want you to include there what 2 packages of designs you're going to use. And I'm just going to open one up so that you can see what they look like, because they're really cool. I got a couple that are partials already. So this one here is called Star Dance, and I like this. I've done this on baby quilts before. So it's just a tissue paper type design. And I like to use 505, and I just spray over the surface of the quilt. And then you just attach this. You start at the top, and you just lay this on the quilt, and the fusible spray will hold it in place. And then you can just stitch right over this design. And it's got these dashed designs. This is for realignment. So I'm going to take this next one, and the dark center section of that is going to line up over top of this. It's so smart the way they've designed these so that they all work together. There's no guessing whatsoever. You baste your quilt, you lay these out on top with some fusible, and it all lines up, and you just start stitching over all the lines. And before you know it, you have a finished quilt, and it's consistent and beautiful. You just have to pull these off when you're done, and you're going to love it, I promise. You picked 2. Okay. So like I said, I'm sending 2 packages of this design. You should choose 2 of the same so that you have enough to do the quilt. And when you send me a message, include your email, your phone number, and your shipping address, plus your design choice. So you're going to have to go to the website, sparrowquiltco.com, and you're going to have to search tearaways and send me the 2 that you want. So my winners today are Pamela Mickelson and Jessica Mickelson. Congratulations, ladies. These are the mother and daughter that have been chatting. Congratulations, girls. You're going to love these. And I hope you play with them together so that you learn a lot from one another. All right, everybody. My next show is going to be on Friday morning at 10:30. And like I said, that's the Stash Buster series. It's patterns and designs, tutorials, and that are free, that are designed to help you use up your stash that you've already got. Saturday morning is an auction where we will be showing beautiful fabrics, and then you'll have the opportunity to purchase them. And the auction is in a reverse auction. So every 10 minutes, if an item doesn't sell, the price starts to drop, and we'll just continue to drop it until it is one heck of a deal. All right, so that's what we have coming up. Next Wednesday, please remember that we will not be here with a show, but I will send out the finishing instructions for you so that you know how big your sashings need to be and your borders and all that kind of stuff. And then I really, really, really am looking forward to seeing your projects. So please join the Sparrow Quilt Co. Daily group on Facebook. I want to see your projects there, your fabrics, your blocks, everything that you're doing. And then that's a really great place to ask questions if you're having any issues at all. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. What's funny?
So Laura said she had to leave the auction early because her husband tried to cut off his thumb. He's fine.
Oh my goodness,
And then
Laura.
Stephanie replied, Laura, you must have been buying a lot of your husband had to cut off his away from the auction.
Oh my goodness, Laura, that's so awful. I shouldn't be laughing. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope he's okay. I'm glad to hear he's okay. That is too funny. Oh my goodness. Well, again, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. I really enjoyed doing this series with all of you. I hope you will join me in the last week of October when we start a whole brand new quilt using the guidelines rulers. Okay, you're going to really enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. Take care. I'll see you all later. Bye for now.